GNT show is intended for mature audiences. Parental discretion is advice. Live long and prosper, bitches.
Are friends with benefits?
Speaking of having a good time, Terry.
Dayton broke the G&T show. This is now the David Mack
Appreciation Hour. You assholes.
What is it about this guy that people love him so much?
With his purple velvet cape and his crown. I thought it was a little much when he had us carry him in the studio on a throne. I am awesome! Look what I have done! Look what I have brought upon the world!
There is an urge to go, nya.
I heard rumors that you might be working on something else, but we won't prod much. I was going to say it.
I'm going to pry a little.
Dare you! How dare you ask me to change it? Do you not understand the majesty of my genius? And the guy sitting next to me looked at me like he was, like I'd cramped in his hat.
Yeah, it's the professionalism that sells the show. That's right.
Welcome to this edition of G&T Supplemental Logs, a very special one this week with our guests. You've heard him before, Mr. Larry Nemecek and Mr. Sarah Cassidy from Geek Nation Tours. Welcome, gentlemen.
Hello.
Oh, that Canadian bite, sharp wit there.
And of
hi,
course,
guys. Thanks for having us.
Welcome. With us, as always, the beautiful, the lovely, the high-booted, short-skirted, big-breasted Terry Lynn.
That would be me.
And today, in honor of Larry, wearing his full Klingon regalia, my left, your right, there he is. But he's wearing an original series. He's dressed like Hang. Ceridium.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Well, welcome, gentlemen. It's great to have you back.
Awesome to be here. Wow. So are you dressed up? Because I feel underdressed now, Larry. What do you feel?
I'm not telling you how I feel, but that's totally summed up Terry for what I know. So,
it is, yeah. That's pretty much me. Yeah.
Nothing else. That's pretty much it.
I can't wait for you to see, we all get to meet each other again in person at the Star Trek Las Vegas convention in August, which we are extremely excited about. But I'm even more excited because I'm actually going to cosplay for the first time in my life at this convention. And I actually decided to invest in a TOS uniform from Anovos this year. I'm excited about that. So I'm going to cosplay as myself.
Those are amazing uniforms. I just had the experience of wearing one.
I bet you did. So that's kind of
you did. Please, Larry, tell us about that.
Please. I just
specialized in the subtle. Yeah,
the subtle.
Yeah.
I have to say, I saw a picture of you this week that blew my mind. First off, you do realize I was shocked and a tad sad because you did shave. No, not appalled, not quite appalled. You shaved the beard, which of course is always shocking to a beard aficionado like myself. And I saw the picture with you without the beard, and I thought, I wonder why he shaved the beard. And then I realized, as I saw the fuller size of the picture, I was like, oh my gosh, you're wearing a TOS Starfleet medical uniform. Please tell us why.
Well, as of about a month ago, Vic Mignogna came at me to replace his previously cast guy that had to drop out for a couple of reasons, family reasons, to play McCoy in their debut episode of Star Trek Continues, which films down in Southeast Georgia. Yeah, I know. I was like, oh, okay.
Wow.
I had already said, oh, man, I wish I'd known. My degrees are in theater, but I haven't acted in ages aside from the Divine White thing. And it was amazing. And the fact that I got to have coveralls for surgery and a smock and a duty uniform. I had everything, but I had the quadfecta except for a dress uniform, which was...
Oh, my gosh.
But it was hard work. We weren't just goofing around cosplaying.
Oh, gosh, no.
It was very well scheduled. It had the amazing thing was...
now, just because it hasn't been made clear yet, it's actually for Star Trek Continues, correct?
Say again?
It's actually for Star Trek Continues, yes?
Yes, Star Trek Continues, which is another TOS era fan. It's almost a misnomer to say fan films anymore because...
We use the term unofficial.
Or independent.
Yeah. Or independent. Independent production. There we go.
Yes, independent production, web episode. Those are all a little bit hard. Because it is. The idea that the DP, Matt Busey, and his crew, Andy and Gary, I thought were like a crew. Like you go to the stages and in Trek Days, here's Jonathan West and here's Marvin Rush, and they have a crew that work with them, and if they go to another show, the crew goes with them, I mean, they work as a team, and that's why they're a well-oiled machine. And I thought these guys were a crew. And to find out they just met each other on, like, the Sunday before Monday, and two of the guys were from Seattle and drove down, and
wow.
and the crew. Anyway, it was just amazing.
They drove from Seattle to Southeast Georgia.
Yes, with the jib crane, with the boom jib. We had a mini camera crane, and he had made a dolly and dolly track for the camera, and they had these incredible sets that you see in the pictures. If you can get past, our gorgeous faces, ha ha. But if you see the lighting and the sets they're building,
I saw the lighting, and I have to say, wow.
The sick bay.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's the stages that the Farragut that John Broughton's group has settled into, and they're co-producing these currently. I mean, they've struck up a partnership where they both put money into them, and they're fairly stable. Hopefully, it won't happen like happened with Excalibur in Vegas, where they had their sets bulldozed out from under them with no warning. But no, this is a small town, but it's like just over the line from Florida, and so it's near Jacksonville. And there's a military base nearby. There's a lot of tourism. It's not like you're out in the middle of nowhere. There's plenty of places to eat and stay and all that, but it's still very small townish. And you're in the pines. What's left of them, they haven't cut down for hotels and things.
So it's by Savannah.
No, it's south of there. I mean, it's literally like right over the line.
Oh, okay. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So anyway, no, it was an amazing thing, and it was a little bit like camp, but it was hard work. I have another project of which I still can't talk that I was paranoid about getting done here within the month. And when he called me about doing that, it was, when you get what's Kirk's opening log about Scotty in Lights of Zatar? Is when a man of Scotty's years reaches a certain age and love blooms again, or whatever. It's kind of like as many jaded, cynical years as I've had with the thing I love, and you get to have a little fanboy moment like that. It's very cool. But this was a ton of work, and I knew going in, and I told Vic this, that I wouldn't get to prep as much as I would have liked because I'm cramming it in. I couldn't say no, and I just wanted to make sure I didn't sabotage the other thing. So I went in, and then we had a travel nightmare Sunday night that I didn't know I'd be teamed up with him on Sunday. So instead of coming in about 7, we got in at 4 in the morning, but we still pushed it back. Anyway, they had a 10-day shoot, and, amazing crew, amazing cast, very professional for people that just came together, professional level acting. I was knocking rust off at every turn, but Chris Doohan playing his dad's role.
That's awesome.
I think it's Grant Imamara from Mythbusters playing Sulu. He only had a weekend, and he zoomed in and zoomed out, and I had a very cool scene with Sulu, and we were all wearing different costumes, and I have to leave it at that because it's a very cool, pretty picture. So, no, it was just amazing, but it was the hardest damn work I've done in ages because I hadn't done it in a while, and I hadn't done film acting that sustained in a long time, and I hadn't prepped on the show, and I was working at night on my other project, but I wouldn't have traded it for anything.
I bet.
Larry, when will we be able to see it?
The current plan, I hope they're going to world premiere it at a con before summer. It's fairly fast turnaround for what people are used to on the fan film level. These things take months and months because people are doing it here and goodness of their heart, the editors and the CGI guys. But Vic is bound determined to do it within just a few months, so before summer. But I don't think it's been publicly said where and when and how, so I'll let him do that. But
great.
Wow.
Within a few months, faster than not. I mean, I'm hoping I can take a clip of me or some scene with me to some of the cons, like the 2 here in LA are coming up, and then a Grand Slam and Gallifrey 1, and then I'm going to be at Emerald City in Seattle, and somewhere else before then in March. El Paso? I'm sorry. Anyway, I'm hoping I can take a little 1-minute clip that won't give anything away that I can take.
So, did you have any really... Sorry, I'm going to jump in.
Hear us, please. Join us. We're family. Who cares?
Did you have any, really surreal moments when you kind of were looking around and going, oh, my God, I'm McCoy, or anything like that? Did you, kind of freak out, go, what universe am I in?
Okay, here's the thing. So we got in at 4 in the morning. The first 3 days between that and working at night and trying to socialize and meet people still without being like a hermit, and it's just so much happening and getting the vibe, hitting the ground running. Although, the first 3 nights I had 4 hours sleep, so I was a cheesehead, and then and all the stick-based stuff, the really big McCoy, the fun, cool McCoy things were all the first few days, and there was a call sheet wrong that I thought I had a light first day and I didn't. So having said all that, when I walk and they're lining the sets out, the plan from stage 9 at Desilu,
yes,
with the corridor curve, and here the bridge is off to itself, but then everything from engineering and everything else is located along the corridor, like all of sick bay and captain's quarters, and redress that, and the briefing room redressed for rec room or whatever. All that, and transporter room off it, all that stuff is what their goal is to build on the stage, and they've got room to do it. So they haven't built everything; they're doing as they go along. But we had a sick bay, we had a transporter room, we had a captain's quarters, and we had a briefing room that redressed as rec room, and then the bridge. And the first day I came in the door and caught to the two things. One, I hit the corridors, and a couple of the kids that were 20 were like, "Did you see the originals?" I was like, "No, I didn't see the original series film. I'm not 80." But what it did remind me, I came down the corridor, and the first thing I thought of was watching Tribulations be filmed for DS9, which was like a step. It was like a piggyback memory. It was like, ooh, and now I'm watching them remember the 60s, which is very cool. I kept expecting David Gerald to walk around the corner with his 60s Tribble and say something about the world's oldest security guard with gray hair, because he was in that, if you see him a couple of times. But then, like, right at the front is where sick bay is, and they had a Leonard McCoy MD, plastic plaque on the wall outside. And that's what really, it's beautiful inside. They had it lit. They didn't have it lit yet, but it got me to see the corridor, and I flashed back to Tribulations, and then I looked up and saw the Leonard McCoy plaque up there, and I was like, oh my God, this is mine.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I flashed on how a lot of sports teams do it, but I know back home, OU's football to Sooners, that's very famous in Spud Wilkinson days in the 50s, they have when they run out of their locker room onto the field, they have a plaque above the door that says, "Play like a champion today," and everybody taps that.
Right.
It's like tapping Will Rogers' boots for good luck when your president rubs Will Rogers' boots before it goes in to make his State of the Union message, because that's where the Will Rogers statue is in the Capitol. Huh. And it just hit me. It was like, this is such a cool little thing, and I'm going to cling on to this. No pun intended.
No, yes.
That was rather good, actually.
That was a good one.
Every time I walk past, either as I was walking in the door or just down the hall, I would reach out and rub the Leonard McCoy plaque.
Oh, which is how cool.
Just like, it was a weird way. It was like all my interest kind of came because, like, ooh, I'm rubbing Will's boots and I'm tapping the, play like a champion for my Sooner. It was very strange. And then I got in and realized how cheese-headed I was and how I was unprepared, and we would do some takes for me, but...
Now, that plaque didn't happen to make its way off the set, did it?
No. And, like, when the Farragut film's there, they'll take it down, but I wouldn't do that. No, everything is on... Things are on, low budget, so they buy it once. It's not like Paramount where they just have remade because they know two are going to get stolen.
Now, did you have a Christine Chapel?
They didn't have a we had, if you look at some of the pictures maybe out there was a girl, there was the three girls that Vic knew from the anime circuit and came down and were great. They were great kids. I say kids, they were like 20, 21. They were all in college or whatever. They looked excellent. They brought their red dresses, and one of them had a chapel-type nurse outfit, and they had a nurse to stand next to me, and she actually had a line. I think she got to say, "Doctor," at one point. Didn't call her chapel because they wanted to hold the door open and having a cast chapel with lines later on. There wasn't room for it, and they didn't have one in the show. But she looks, if you just see the picture, you go, oh, she's playing chapel, because she had blonde hair and a little flip in it. But we came up with a name for her. It was just nurse in the script, and I said, no, I want everybody to... It was like I took her under my... I was like, no, because we played with... We didn't play. We worked with all the... We had surgery props. It was so cool. Oh. And I thought, I'll be lucky if I have a scanner and a hypo, but we had protoplasers and things, and anyway, and I had a med kit. But I worked on us handling the props like, surgery, like old pro, like we did it every day. And she was kind of youngish, but she appreciated that. And so in the middle of that, I said, no, I hate it when they have just extras with no names and yada yada. And I said, let's come up with a name. So what we eventually came up for was Nurse Temple. Get it?
Yes. Okay.
Okay. Answer the question. Anyway, it was as cool all this sounds. It was so much, and there were so many times I wanted to club myself, and people were like, no, you're doing good. And I'm like, I'm sorry. And it didn't dawn on me until 2 or 3 days went by. It's like, if I got more than 4 hours sleep a night, I might be doing better on my lines that I'm just now learning. So, because it was like a 3 weeks notice thing on top of everything else, on top of the holidays and everything else happening. So.
It still must have been a blast. Now, for some of our listeners who may not know, I realize that you can't talk about the plot of your script or anything along those lines. However, in a general way, for those people who may not know anything about Star Trek Continues, can you kind of give them an overall idea of what it is? It's essentially the carrying on of the original series, is it not?
Yeah, it's another group like New Voyages Phase 2 who are they're not coming up with an all-new crew on another ship. It's TOS era. era, and it's Kirk, Spock, and McCoy. And they're also trying to say this will be like the 4th season and the 5th season. And this is Vic Mignogna, who he was huge in voice acting and anime. He does Comic-Cons and has a ton of fans from his voice work. Call of Duty, not being out of that world, I can't rattle off. But if you IMDb him, there'll be a ton of stuff there. And he's done acting. He directs also. He was trying to work on a reality directing thing at the time we were there, but or on the deal. But he does tons of cons through the years, the Comic-Con type animes.
And he's huge.
And a fellow actor who's almost as big. Well, he's actually kind of slender, but no, I'm kidding. Todd Haberkorn is another voice actor, and he's playing Spock. And Chris Doohan, like I think I said, is playing Scotty, which is amazing. He looks like his dad 3rd season, which is amazing. Grant Imahara is playing Sulu. Kim Stinger, young actress who played Uhura once on New Voyages, I think, is playing Uhura. They did some shorts. There's 3 little. They originally had an actor named Chuck Huber who was doing McCoy. I say family. He had one of his kids had a medical situation that he thought he was going to be distracted by, and he pulled out. And he's a working actor. Vic wanted to have working people in this, and Chuck was, and he had to pull out. And then I had already said, and Ralph Miller, who does sound, I don't know if probably a lot of you don't know unless you saw he does a wonderful Nixon impersonation. He's a sound guy, great, and works on all of these fan films. And he's here in L.A., and he does a wonderful Nixon impersonation. And Pony Horton, who does CG for a lot of these too, and professionally, they did go look it up on YouTube. It's called 1701 Pennsylvania Avenue, and it's a whole thing about Nixon Star Trek, and it's just terrible. Anyway, Ralph was like he was like, you should be in this. You should be. I said, I'm not going to. They cast. And so anyway, I let Vic know, and Ralph championed for me that if it ever happened, that I'd love to play McCoy, and I would knock rust off and jump and shave the beard, anything I needed to do for it.
Wow. And you did. You shaved the beard. It shocked me. Shocked me.
And he said, call me. And I said, I knew exactly what he was doing when he. So I didn't mean to shock you guys. Sorry.
No, you shocked me with the beard. You know me. How many times do I have to tell people? Like the beard. Dude, my husband shaved.
Whore.
I am a beard whore. My husband shaved his last month, and I had a coronary. But I'm all right now. I'm all right.
But
he grew it back 3 days later.
That for you.
Yeah, because he knows I like his beard when it's really soft. I just love beards. I can't help it. So I was very shocked, Larry, when I saw the picture of you and it had gone, and I thought there better be a damn good reason for this. Well, this was a damn good reason. I'm just telling you. I forgive you.
My jawline cancer. I had it, and I had that. No, I'm kidding.
I was actually really surprised at how well you looked. Like you really looked the part.
You did.
Thank you.
It's amazing. Yeah.
I also had to get used to my face again, because I'm used to smiling and doing stuff with my face. And for the first day or two, he's like, "You're doing this old grandma mouth thing," and I'm like, "Oh, I am. What is that?" I had to go in, and it was strange. It's just very strange. The things that you get between yourself and your own body, even at your face. I had to get used to myself without the beard again. So
I bet. So
and tons of work. I have not exercised my brain that much in ages for a 10, 11 day thing. So
I'll admit it. I think all of us are just jealous. I mean, it's definitely a bucket list thing to be able to say that you got to do, right? I mean, what a dream for independent film or not, independent filming or not. It's still a blast that you're able to participate in a project like that, and we're all really excited for you, and we can't wait to see it, Larry.
Well, I can't either. They promised me that I was not embarrassing myself, and I felt better the more we went along. I just wish I was more up on the early stuff in Sick Babe. I had very cool with Grant. It was Kirk, Scotty, Sulu, and myself, and I looked at the monitor and I said, "Oh my God, this is Star Trek all in one." Here's the thing: people that were there, the cast, the crew, everybody. The sets were so cool and beautiful, and then they get lit, and everybody looks so good in their outfits, and it was just. I mean, people have done. You've gone to exhibits, and we've done, the tour shows and Vegas and the experience and being the bridge, the D bridge and all this stuff are different things, and people played and cosplay. But there's nothing like just even looking out in the corridor and seeing 8 or 10 extras walk by, in their outfits. Or the captain's quarters were beautiful. The rec room was so cool, and they had the coffee pot. We had accurate 3D chess and checkers, and anyway, it's just people kept every time we go in a new set, people go, "Oh, this is so Star Trek," and that became
that's awesome. That is amazing.
One of the guys that put money into it he played the security chief, but he's an executive producer because he helped out. But he got T-shirts for everybody halfway through that kind of commemorated. There's no art on them, but it has the text, and the bottom line is, "It's so Star Trek."
That's awesome. Wow. Yeah, I have to say I am totally jealous.
I know. I am. I'm so jealous. I really am.
Yeah, it was. It was very, very cool to do, and but it was a wonderful group and very professional. I mean, I could close my eyes and I'm sitting over the side, and they're going, sound rolling, marker, speed, okay, background and action. I mean, it was a very professional group. Not to have been, a lot of them are small time direct. The guys that were grips had like directed videos and stuff around Georgia and Florida or wherever they lived. We had people from Utah and Seattle and LA and Arizona.
Spectacular.
So, yeah.
Now, besides Star Trek Continues, how's things with Con of Wrath progressing? It's
been kind of on its winter hiatus, and we're this trip that we've canceled twice to go back home to Oklahoma and Texas and shoot some people. I don't know if I've talked to you all since right before Thanksgiving, we got George Takei's in.
Excellent.
Got him while he was down in San Diego doing his musical that had huge reviews. I think it was Allegiance, about the Japanese American. Right.
The one that he's already taken it to Broadway once, right?
No, this was their start. This was their off.
And they're performing. Okay, good. Yeah.
In San Diego, at the Old Globe in San Diego.
Right.
So, but anyway, we have George now, and we're just kind of going down the list. But I've got a bunch of fans and dealers to get in Oklahoma, and that we had another Houston trip and shot on one of the locations, thankfully. But we're still pinning down archival footage, and I just kind of took a winter off. Plus, a couple of it's kind of a shade tree thing. That's how I always describe it.
Yes. Yeah.
Do things. I'm doing this, and I hope we'll get all the shooting done by the end of the year. But I want to get to the East Coast and get some people who live out there, and still. And if anybody listening to this, if you were at the Ultimate Fantasy convention/show in June of '82, or somebody was your parents or somebody were there, and I call them the survivors. Please get a hold of me. Because they called it Ultimate Fiasco, Ultimate Fuck Up, Ultimate Fallacy, but the Meltdown convention that still went ahead thanks to everyone from the actors down to the fans and everything. But the dealers that came out with the buttons Sunday afternoon that said, I survived the Con of Wrath, that's why I called survivors. So if anybody out there still, get a hold of me, Larry at LarryNemecek.com, just email me and let me know. I still want to have people submit stuff. I haven't set it up or officially called for it, but I'm just...
Right. And for those of you, if you need to, if you're listening to this and you know somebody, even if you know somebody who might know somebody, make sure that this information gets out to them and let them know that Larry needs to be reached because he's looking for people who attended the Con of Wrath. We have Larry's link on our website, so you can go to thegntshow.com and over on the right-hand side you can see the Con of Wrath logo, and you can just click on it and you will find a way to reach him.
Thank you, Terry, for doing that. Yeah, Con of Wrath, go there. Yeah. So anyway, we're ambling along, and I need to ramp it up a little bit, but I got distracted here with 2 or 3 other...
you think? You're a busy man, my dear. Projects are you doing? I'm just asking for the number, not specifics.
No, I know. It would be nice to cash in sometime, but no, the surprise thing I still can't talk about is I'm working on it full bore now. It just came up the last month or two also, and probably by summer we can talk about it, if not a little sooner than that. So for background Trek fans, the legit nature, it will be hopefully it'll be a cool thing. And people of fandoms of the different, from Klingon fans and some of the other races, hopefully it'll be a cool thing for them too.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Let's kind of jump on as to why we have Terrace with us as well. Terrace, as most of our listeners will know, is the owner-proprietor of Geek Nation Tours. And last year they had what sounded like a very successful Star Trek-themed tour that also included the Star Trek Las Vegas convention. Can I assume that you are both participating in something similar this year?
You may.
Yes, you sure? Yeah.
Yay!
Yeah. Last year was great. It was our pilot, like we've said many times, and went off pretty much without a hitch. And I think everybody enjoyed themselves, and I know I certainly did. And having Larry there was really awesome.
No. I heard you had to share your booth with a bunch of jerks, though.
Oh yeah, that's true. Actually, that was a lot of fun. I really had a lot of fun with everybody's podcasters and everything. It was good to meet everybody face to face too.
We totally horned in on the Geek Nation Tours vendors booth. Let's just admit it. We did. He had a chair, and we were like, "Oh, come on, it's Terrace. We can sit in this chair. Once
we rolled the keg in, he was fine.
That's good.
Yes, thank you for sharing.
It was awesome.
That's okay. It was actually, again, it was really nice to see you guys. And whenever I needed a chair, everybody moved. They didn't say no. You don't get your chair. So I was.
Yeah, oh no, it was your.
Yeah.
So we're going to have, we were given
Poor Terrace. He misheard when they said, do you mind having a booth next to Claudecaster's row? See?
That's right.
Well, we promise there'll be more room this year because G&T Show got a booth of its own this time. So we'll hopefully all be kind of in the same area again. That would be really great. But kind of tell us, is the tour going to kind of have the same kind of stops, or have you expanded or decided to switch, the stops that you're going to? Because there's so much that you could do.
But we decided to have a slight change and just do Star Wars filming sites this year.
Oh, I've got a question coming up about that. Don't you worry.
We're doing the basic tour very similar to the last year's, but we added a few different stops and took out a couple ones just because the logistics made it a little bit easier. And a lot of people asked us about a couple things that we thought we should include this year. So, we go right into Deep Space Nine's anniversary this year, and we go to Sir Lofton's restaurant on...
Yay! Oh, I'm so jealous.
Really? Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so I think that was one that we added, and we were really excited about it. We were thinking about it a lot last year, and I couldn't put it in logistically, and Larry and I talked a lot about it when we were actually on the tour, and said, you know what, we really got to do this. So yeah, he's been really nice to us. He's a great guy, and he's Surik, that is, not Larry.
Harris does a welcome dinner on all his tours because he doesn't just a Star Trek tour.
Right.
And and last year we went to a nice place, but it was like, well, duh, why don't we just zoom down to Sirok's place right next? It's right down from LAX, so for the welcome dinner. So that's what, yeah. So
it's going to be great. We're gonna, and the food's supposed to be great. The wine's supposed to be very good, also, is even better. So that's awesome. And yeah, so you're there. Like you arrive at LAX, and we transport you straight from LAX to dinner, basically, and then have our welcome dinner and meet everybody and meet Larry and talk.
Will Sirok be there?
Yeah, well, that's what we can't guarantee it, of course, but he has every intention to be there for sure.
Sirok's very hands-on. It's not like it's his name on the door. he and his wife both have she has the wine side and he has the restaurant and the Italian kitchen. What's that called?
The gelato.
Yes, he has a gelato bar and the thing. So he's very hands-on. So it's not like, oh, I hope we catch him when he wanders in. He'll be there, roll up his sleeves and.
Right on.
Yeah. So that's.
I know, I'm jealous. That's great. Yeah. And what other spots are you going to be heading off to?
So that night we head off to the Griffith Observatory straight from there. So again, we're right into it. So we're right into the whole Star Trek thing right away. So that's kind of nice. And
that whole Star Trek thing, huh?
The whole Star Trek thing. Yeah, that sounded kind of odd, didn't it?
Yeah, it's okay. That's what we
stuttered there.
We call it too. So don't.
We last year we were able to go to J.J. Abrams Academy, and we couldn't go to the Tillman water plant because they were rebuilding. And this year they're open, so we're going to be going to both the JJ's and the Tillman water plant, the Starfleet Academy there. So which is really the iconic version of that academy in HQ.
Yeah.
Is that the one at North? Was that Fullerton? Where was?
They're both the Valley. JJ's used the library at Cal State Northridge for his academy steps.
Northridge, that's what it was. Okay.
And but the one that everybody remembers from Next Gen forward is that they had a map painting behind it. But if running around, Boothby's Gardens out in front of the lake, in front of the.
To be honest with you, in Star Trek Online, the academy is definitely modeled on the Tillman site.
Well, I would so. Well, it's Prime, so
Yeah.
But we had that as a backup, and so we could do both this year. But and Terrace will get to this as he ticks down. Some of these are the same places we went. Some of them we shuffled and added a couple later. But the main thing, as before, was some of them are iconic places like Vasquez Rocks. Everybody knows that, and people can go out there themselves easily. But the cool thing here is, like last year, we had Bobby Clark come over, and he surprised me. I've talked to him about it, and I interviewed him, sitting at his table at a con. He does 4 or 5 shows a year. But to have him out there walking around where I've been before, but saying, okay, here's where we did the so-and-so scene, here's where we did the fight, here's where I threw the rock at him, here's where we did this, and he just walks around the crescent, and over here is where my ladder, because I couldn't get out of the suit, and I leaned up against the ladder both days, and it was amazing. And
wow.
And yeah, and not that he would, you'd have to pay him to come over and do that, but how many times do you get to visit with him being there walking you through it? But it's a mix of those kind of places and also, obscure things. But all of them, like the observatory, of course, is where Paris and Tuvok shot it out with Starling's bad guy with Sarah Silverman when she was on Voyager. There's always, we don't go anywhere where it's not a Trek location. The good thing is most of them, even the obscure ones sometimes are the same way. All of them are places, if you've never been to LA before, you can go, oh look, to your mundane friends, you can say, oh look, I was at the observatory, I was at the Santa Monica Pier. I was at, blah, blah, blah.
And, of course, we go to, like, the Chinese Theater and Hollywood Boulevard, so we go through all the stars and everything like that, too. So we do the touristy thing, for sure.
Well, that's not necessarily a bad thing. That can also have its own element of a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And, even living, I grew up in the area, and there were days that I learned from not just, my friends and everything. You would take a time out and say, you know what, I live in LA, it's time to be a tourist. And you would take that time for yourself and say, I never got to see these parts of LA that everybody else comes to visit except the people who live there. It's always a blast. You always end up learning something. I always end up learning something when I'm talking to you too, Larry. It's like, dang, dude, fascinating guy. So after the Griffith Park, and you're doing Vasquez Rocks, and where else are we gonna?
Well, I think what we were talking about Larry there, since I think we have to add when we go to the Paramount Studios, Larry's really much part of that. I mean, it is awesome because you walk by what you think is just kind of a back alley, a back part, and he says, no, they did this particular episode there, and then you look at it a little bit, and you're like, oh my God, that is that episode. And just to add for what Larry said about Bobby Clark, I was really shocked at how, I had never been to Vasquez Rocks prior to last year, and when Bobby said, stand right here, this is basically where we shot it, I stood there and I'm like, oh my God, I'm right in the set. It was just kind of really immersive, and you do that all the way through this tour. And Larry beside us really helps with that because he points out things that you would probably just walk by, especially at the Paramount Studios, and it's spectacular. It really is.
Wow.
The cool thing is we have a tour guide that went with us, and I didn't know how. And this guy I think his name was Patrick last year, and I said, okay, now I don't want to. These people are paying. We're doing the tour, but they're interested in Trek stuff, and I don't know how much Trek side stuff you have, but they wanted. It's nice to take a studio tour if we have, throw everything in. And he said, oh no, I said, so how about you just do if it's okay, do your regular tour, and then I'll throw stuff in on the side if that's okay. And he's like, oh no, I'm intentionally going to soak up everything I can today. So, and then Dave Rossi, who's like the last living, Trek person still working a lot. He's in the parks R&D, came over and walked around with us for 3/4 of it. And so Dave telling on me on top of everything else, and on top of that, we still found something I had never known. Our guide, I thanked him profusely for showing me something that I, in nearly 20 years, had never known about the lot, about the old Desilu stages, so that are Paramount now. So
wow,
to have him stop by, that was really awesome too. I think he really did really stirred up a lot of stuff. Like he was talking about how he got to be on a couple of the movies, and he explained how he just kind of snuck in, and yeah, it was really, and he's very vocal, like he's very comedic. It was a pleasure to have him stop by on the tour too, for sure.
And a good stand-up comic. I mean, I think he's got that sarcasm on the East Coast. He's from Buffalo, so it's kind of like, now he's just keep head down trying to get through the day, but no, I'm kidding. But no, if you ever get a chance to see him at a convention, he's great. He should do more of those, but he keeps a low profile now. But if you ever get a chance, anybody ever gets a chance to talk to him in an event or something, he comes out to Vegas sometimes, just for a day or two. But yeah, that was a great bonus we had. So we get around the lot. We kind of had a day where we were like close in. So we went to Grauman's Chinese, did the Walk of Fame, saw the Trek stars, saw the big joint plaque in front of the Chinese. And we went over to the studio and did a tour, a glorified tour, and then we wound up at Bronson Canyon, right, Tara?
Mm-hmm. That's right, yeah.
15 planets in 20 square yards, right there.
I was going to say, that's the one that's kind of up and behind the Greek, right?
Yes.
Okay.
It's one end of the disconnected part of Griffith Park, and you drive past part of Azure to get there. So,
yeah, it was. Again, I think that was another time where I was just like, oh my God! And all through this tour, we're always playing videos DVDs. Larry,
I finally got him
that all the time. Anyways, we're playing DVDs about various scenes and the places that we're going to visit, and quite often we'll be looking at the screen and looking at where we're visiting at the same time, and I think that's really spectacular when you're like, wow, this is like right there. Again, it really places you into the scene and the episodes. And
it's like stepping into a whole new world.
See, and for those of us who grew up in the area, that's kind of where you went to go make out.
Oh.
So
we'll have to go there at night then next time, Larry.
Oh, who said at night?
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, and what's really, I thought very interesting is that I was a little bit worried when I started to think about doing any type of film tours, film scene tours. I was worried that I might take the magic away, but I think when you go there, it just adds another smile to your face. When you're watching it, you're like, wow, I was there. Like, I saw that just right, and I was standing right beside. I watched Arena when I came back, and boy, it was great to see it. It really was interesting. So I think that was really a fun time for sure.
And Munson Canyon, you have the ghost of the Batmobile there too.
That's right.
That's right.
Dave,
That's right.
The things probably over the years, but that's pretty iconic. So we had like one day that was close in, and then we had one day that I called the Greater LA Day, and that's when we went up in the valley and hit the academies, and we went to Franklin Canyon Lake for Miramonte's Planet, and then what? Then we went out to Santa Monica Pier for where Chakotay and Janeway are wandering around loose from Future's End, and wound up at Will Rogers for the Will Rogers State Park, where I'm a docent, but so where the Bird of Prey landed. And it did not land at Griffith Park, at Golden Gate Park. It actually landed in Santa Monica, in the Palisades, in Star Trek 4. So
I think that was the best time when we had the DVD playing and the outside exact at the same time. Wasn't that awesome, Larry, that particular time?
It was funny because it's kind of like the most mundane thing. You go up there and it's the polo field, and you get up there, and I'm a docent inside. I want to take people in the house and do the history inside and all the cool stuff. And out in front, it's like, well, here's this big open polo field with no horses on right now, and this white fence around it, flat. And I was like, people are kind of going, okay, well, this is like the highlight of the tour. Like, okay, I put it on my list, but big deal. And just as we whipped around and came in the parking lot, the movie was going where Jillian jumps out of her truck and is going, Admiral Kirk, and she's out there. She sees Scotty up there half obscured, and she runs into the leg cloaked.
Right.
And as she's running across on the screen was like over the driver's left shoulder, and we whipped around looking out the driver's left window, and it's right at the scene where she's coming out, and I was like, oh my God, stop. And there's like a gate open, white fence, and I looked out the window, like 2 degrees over in my line of vision, and the gate is open the exact same way. And I'm like, okay, everybody, this is it.
Yeah, it was very cool. It was incredible because it was just a normal fence in a lot of ways, So
it was like you wandered up there yourself, and it was like, so it's a polo field with a fence around it. Okay, you see her in the picture, and you go, oh, and that was this case of something nothing almost for people. I think
it added that extra dimension to the place by having the film to reference. Yeah. That's awesome.
Like you don't need to add to Vasquez Rocks. You don't need something.
Yeah, they're kind of iconic. I mean, if The Big Bang Theory proved yet again last week, right? Mm-hmm. Did you get to see the episode, Larry?
Yeah, that was it was kind of, because if you know it, you're going, well, Aqua Dulce's right there, guys. You have water in houses a half a mile.
Seriously, you and I know that. You and I totally said the same thing. However, for those people, don't lock your keys near.
Well, and correct me if I'm wrong, Vasquez Rock was in the last Star Trek movie, right?
They used it for Vulcan again. Yeah,
they did. Which leads me to my next question. See how I did that?
Ooh.
Very good. Very good.
Heard what you there.
Go ahead.
Yo.
Hello.
Are we here?
Yeah. Oh, you guys dropped out too?
Yeah, just for a second. We're good.
Oh, I'm good. Yeah.
We're waiting for your next question.
Well, I've got the audience on the edge of their seats. So, Larry.
Yes.
And also Terrace, but Larry, what to make of the news in the last week regarding the Star Trek movie production stuff and Mr. Liar, I want to do this franchise, but really I'm going to do the other one, but I'm not going to say I don't want to do it.
Oh, that was Nick's attempt at being civil. Trust me.
No, I don't care. It's like, can anybody control any of this? I know he said, that would be conflict of interest but he's a big guy and he's going to cram as much stuff in his resume as he can. And if Disney made him an offer he couldn't refuse, it's like, just do it. I just want a TV show again. It's like, you guys go run off and put these big movies that bring people in the theater and make money, and everybody says, ooh, look, Star Trek's cool and mainstream now. That's fine. I'm just waiting for a series again, and who's going to run it and all that stuff.
Bravo, Larry. Good.
Totally agree.
Totally agree.
This is so not 2008, 2009 anymore, as far as everybody. It's like, just get the movie out already. Let's all go enjoy it or pick it apart or whatever and get the money in the box office, and let's get that third movie down and somebody unfreeze the TV series or whatever they're going to do and just get on with it.
I think that's the biggest thing.
And save Star Wars from Lucas at the same time, then fine,
I think that whole Disney Lucas thing is a good thing for Star Wars in the first place, but that can be another argument some other time. But,
oh no, I agree with you. I don't think there's very many people that dispute that. I don't know very many people who are wholly upset with that access. As a matter of fact, I think all of us are quite happy for J.J. Abrams because we all knew how much he really wanted to be able to do the Star Wars stuff. So, you can't, why would you begrudge anybody something that they really want to do? I think that we're all very happy for him. I think that we're Star Trek fans and we're just feeling like, it's like Larry said, can we just move on? Can we just get it going? And I agree. I would love to see something on TV.
As long as you're not feeling a little bit of, check off to Davy Jones, to the Monkees, to I'm Not Your Stepping Stone,
Stepping Stone. Don't even talk to me. I saw them at Candlestick Park because I love them so much. I love the Monkees. So
I mean, like if people are thinking, you just used us to get to Star Wars. Thanks a lot.
Oh, I think that, but I don't begrudge him.
I find it kind of, and I tried to mention this last week on the show, but I find it kind of interesting that one guy is controlling now or going to be involved in both of these franchises, these big sci-fi franchises. I just don't want to, I don't know. It's just, I would like to see variety in my sci-fi, not everything from the mind of J.J. Abrams.
Like one guy running for president from both parties or something?
That's essentially what's going on.
I think he has to be careful because I think they're two different things altogether, right? You have that space opera versus that harder science sci-fi type of thing, and I think that he really has to watch his balance. I think.
What did he do in Star Trek 09?
Yeah.
That was a grim shot, but okay.
I love it. No, I'm laughing going, that was awesome.
Okay.
That was great. Oh, my goodness.
What it really does come down to, though, I think that, and this is in my opinion completely, is that Star Trek, for me, has always been TV. I love the movies. I'll go to them multiple times. I'll enjoy them. I'll laugh. I'll cry. I'll be happy. But it's the TV is what Star Trek is to me. And yes, I agree completely with Larry, is that it really needs to come back.
Well, if you look at it, the movies have always been like icing on the cake. They've been like a bonus for fans. They're a treat. They've been a bonus. They're a bonus for the cast. Oh, look, guys, you get to get a movie salary. And or whatever, miniature movie salary, but better than TV, and especially for the 60s guys. And for fans, it's like, oh, look, we get a little bit bigger budget to give you these guys on an adventure. And, whenever they sit around and go, let's analyze the Star Trek movies, it's kind of like, to me, it's like analyzing people that go off about Monty Python in the movies. And people Python is Holy Grail and maybe Life of Brian. It's like, no, there were like those 4 or 5 years with the goofy transitions and total non sequitur, in and out stuff. And it's like the series gets forgotten sometimes by the people even remembering Python at all. But if you're listening to this and you have no idea who Monty Python's Flying Circus is, you need to get thee to a DVD-ery or a I get thee to a Netflixery.
I am so going to use that from now on. A DVD-ery. That is now a new word in my vocabulary, in my lexicon. It's there.
You know what I'm saying? It's like somebody was looking at me the other day. I said I did a Python line, and they looked like a top 10 Python line, and they looked at me like I was crazy. And I'm like, don't let that escape our cultural touch base. Come on. I said it's like the Beatles. I said that in a tweet, and then I swear 2 or 3 weeks later, somebody said there was an article online about how the Pythons are the Beatles of comedy. And I was like, yes. And I actually wrote a tweet somewhere. I could stake my life to that. But anyway, these people that sit and want to talk about Trek movies like they're James Bonds or like they're Star Wars. And I go, no, well, yeah, that's fine and wonderful, but they all depend on knowing, some of them stand alone and they have to stand alone to make money, and that's always been the bar, whether it was, Harv Bennett's or Rick Berman's or whatever. They always worry about bringing the mainstream media in because we can't make money on just our Trek fans, even if they went to see the movie 5 times, every single one of them. Right. And it's the same thing, but it's, the core of it's, and that's why right now people finally woke up and went, 2 hours of a movie every 3 or 4 years, that's kind of puny. We need a theory. Yeah. It's like, thank you. That's what I was saying in 07, 08, but I didn't want to, you say that pre-JJ 09 and you sound like you were,
whining.
Movie. Yeah, you sound like you were whining. Yeah. It's like, no, please be a success, but it's not a series, guys. You'll wake up the next morning and go, is that all there is? Yeah. Good.
Yeah. So it's it's kind of like an appetizer or a dessert. It's something that you either begin a meal with or you finish a meal off with, but it's not the substance of the meal. And that's where the series comes in.
And the novelty of having an alternate. I mean, thank God. And if it was Alex and Bob that were the Alex Kurtzman and Bob Orsi, if it was their voices within the Supreme Court of their production, quartet or whatever, quintet, if it was them that pulled for having it be an alternate timeline versus just another Batman, Superman type, reboot, because Trek is not comic and it's not even a novel. It's not a Sherlock Holmes and it's not a comic book. It was those guys' faces created those characters on film. It was not on a page and it was not in a drawing. So you don't just reboot Star Trek like you do anything. And if they did the alternate timeline, that was like it was a compromise, then power to them, that's wonderful. But the thing about, like the Mirror Universe or any other alternate timeline or alternate story in any of the series is the whole point of it was you had a wall to bounce off. The only thing that gave the alternate universe characters texture and shape was the fact that you knew who the real guys were. And part of the thing about going, of course, if you're just a brand new fan, you don't know any better. That's one thing. You watch the movie, you enjoy it probably, or you watch the second one, you'll enjoy it probably. But anybody else is part of their head, whether they're screaming about it or they're enjoying it, they're comparing it back to what they know is the prime universe, which has always been the point of the fun of any alternate universe thing in a running character situation is that you knew who the real guys are.
Right.
And if there's nothing to compare back to, then what's the point of having alternate universe people? So, we're going to tweak with this, we're going to play with this, we're going to have Kirk be a pumpkin, we'll have, blah, blah, blah. And if it's just to show, look, we can throw billions of dollars at this that they didn't have in the 60s, that's not the point, But anyway, so I don't know what I...
All I have to say, no. I'm just going to tell you right now, are you growing your beard back? Because if you are, I'm going to kiss you on the lips the next time I talk to you.
I had a beard just recently.
Oh my God. Okay, I'm just saying, next time we get Alex or somebody on, I'm going to... Okay, never mind. I got it.
What's wacky to me is, what's bigger to me even, I didn't think about the beard so much as what I'm dealing with now is, I guess that blinded you and other people because you didn't even notice the fact that I dark brown dyed my hair.
Oh, I noticed that a little bit, but for me again, it's...
Terry's not telling you the truth here. Oh. I asked her if she saw the picture of you in the McCoy uniform, and she was like, that's not him, that's somebody else. And I was like, no, Terry, that's him. And Mike, you were on that call too, right?
I was there, and I still don't know what Larry looks like without beard. I can't imagine it.
She was like, oh my God, that is like... So she's trying to make it like, oh, no. I'm outing you right here in public, sister. You had no idea it was him. I had to school you.
Well, my point is, the longer term thing is like, oh, this hair. Do I bring it back to be Sandy Brown again, or do I keep, it's like, and if a beard comes in, it'll be like this I don't want to have to color it. Anyway, it's crazy. I don't know. I still don't know what the hell I'm doing. Supposedly they film another one this summer. I don't know. June, July, or whatever. I guess they are going to keep me, so I haven't embarrassed myself. Yes.
Oh, please, you're going to be fun. It's so much fun. I know. Oh, my goodness.
Perhaps the next one will be Mirror Universe, and we'll be able to keep the beard.
Well, the first 5 people that said, no beard, what happened? Like, oh, we didn't shoot the McCoy as the backwoods veterinarian. From 23-9.
Dr. McCoy, frontier doctor.
When we saw him in motion picture.
He came up where he beamed in motion picture, yeah.
In his leisure suit.
That's right.
Just from Studio 47.
Very good. Yeah. Somebody should do that. Somebody should do that for a con. That could be a new con thing, like travel it from con to con. Studio 47.
I like it.
Yeah. Somebody should open I was just in San Francisco this last weekend after I got back. I had and I kept thinking someone needs to open up like a Club 602 up here or something.
Oh.
Of course, everybody that didn't watch Enterprise will have no clue what that is. But
and I totally watched it, so don't even worry. I know exactly. We even have, again, we have a bar 602 in the game in Star Trek Online, but it's part of the Academy. It's attached to the Academy. It's not like its own bar set aside like it was in Enterprise. It's actually the bar in the Academy. Yeah, it's a little different.
Yeah, it's a little harder to explore outside of certain areas in the game, but nonetheless, it was a nice touchstone that it was there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was. Well, gentlemen, Terrace, we didn't get to talk too much to you. I know that. Let me I want to be able to ask people and get this information out. How can people get the information about this year's tour? How can they reach you, and when should they be putting down deposits for their tours?
Sure. I will answer that. However, I will tell you one other thing that we are going to do on the tour first. So I'm going to segue you and monopolize more of your time for just...
That is... hey,
You're more than
I'm
welcome.
Thrilled with this. Don't even worry. This is great.
Sorry that her beard obsession took over half the show.
I'll send you a picture of me with a beard shortly.
Okay.
And I have that awesome picture from the convention of me on a chair kicking Terrace's ass. I look like a midget wrestler next to him.
I haven't seen that.
I had to stand on a chair just to reach the same height as him. I felt like Aaron Eisenberg.
Are you I heard Aaron Eisenberg. Terrace, any chance about the Valley of Fire?
Yes, just about Valley of Fire.
Mike?
So, yeah, we're going to head out to the Valley of Fire because a lot of people asked us.
That's awesome.
Yeah, people asked.
I even know what that is. That's the area from Star Trek Generations where Kirk dies.
That's right. So we're going to go see the final resting place of Captain James T. Kirk. So we're very excited about that. And what's more...
are you going to play bagpipes?
I would love to bring... I should bring bagpipes. It's a great idea. At least a recording.
Yes.
That's all.
Have a little memorial service for Kirk.
That's right. What, also, not only will we see the area, and I guess the bridge is still there, so you can take pictures of that kind of the bridge part where they walked across, that metal bridge.
Is in it. They kept the bridge and they gave it to the park, and the park actually uses it to cross the creek.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
On the bridge. Yeah.
So we're going to go with that. And then also, Larry, you want to talk about Michael coming aboard?
Yeah, barring work commitments with Face Off or whatever, Mike Westmore is going to drive out, because Mike was like one of the fivers. They actually got down to when Picard puts the rocks, the rocky grave, there were like five people, like the DP, the cameraman, Patrick, Mike Westmore to be his makeup, and the director. There were like four of them. And he had been out all the time, but he has some great stories. But he was out for the Valley of Fire shoot, and he was going to drive out with us and kind of do a Bob Clark and talk about what things were where and everything. And Mike Westmore has 40 billion, just Hollywood stories, much less his 18 Star Trek.
Wow.
So it'll be...
I just got chills. How cool will that be if it comes to fruition? We are definitely crossing our fingers for you guys. I hope it will.
Any chance he'll be putting Vulcan airs on people?
I do have a question for you, Larry.
Okay.
Oh, God, here it comes.
No. Shut up, beard woman. I will cut your boots. I will take scissors and scuff your boots.
Don't hurt my boots.
Okay, Dad.
Don't blunt the stilettos. Okay.
Because of your time around Next Generation and all of that, how well do you know Mackenzie Westmore? Because I'm such a huge fan of Face Off.
I didn't know her well, but the last 3 or 4 years I've tried to get her to a couple of conventions, and she had to cancel them for her Face Off time. And Face Off has become it's the biggest thing on sci-fi, biggest ratings thing on sci-fi is Face Off.
Imagine that, and it actually relates to science fiction. And anyway,
have they made an announcement about Mike? Because Mike came in as like a guest judge.
He's like the mentor.
Yeah, they've upped his role, right?
Yeah, she announced that on the first episode.
I saying it in this podcast, but if it's out there, then it's okay.
Yeah, she announced it on the first episode, and this is the third one coming up this week.
Okay, I'm sorry, I was off shooting in rural Georgia. I don't know what's going on.
You know what? Doesn't that sound like me, Terry? When you asked me something, I was like, no, I was in Iraq. I never saw it.
Right. Yeah. Except his is so.
Yeah. Well, real thing.
But no, that just struck me because I just saw an ad for Face Off go by, and I love that show. And when Michael Westmore's on, and come on, face it, look, it's Mackenzie. So.
Why I am with beards, he is with her. Understand.
Mackenzie's a great person, and in fact, I got her into a SoonerCon back home in Oklahoma City, and the Face-Off schedule shifted, and she had that and a con in El Paso, and she had to drop them both because of that. So anyway, but I remember the first year they were on, and they had Monster Palooza here, which is all monsters and horror and makeup people in Burbank, and they had the first year, and the ranch-style seating, kind of like the old Grand Slams, or the Vegas show, where the seating there's no incline, you're just stuck at the back on the flat, and there were 2,000 or 3,000 people in there for their panel, and they were just blown away. And I said, you guys need to get to Comic-Con. You need to. I had no idea the fandom was there, but when they said we're the most popular thing and they've renewed us for 2 seasons at a time, and then I saw the reaction in there, I was like, oh my God, I can take all the credit. But I cornered their producers. You guys need to get out to the cons that make sense, and they have been doing that. So and upping their promo budget and everything. So good for them. And they're very proud of the fact they didn't manufacture the drama.
Yes.
a concocted reality. They just turn them loose and film it, and whatever happens. So it's not one of these.
I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago on G&T. I was on the regular show. I was saying to Terry, it is just so amazing to get that behind the curtain look at things like that we take for granted, just watching on the screen and watching in the condensed timeline what they have to do and what they come up with, and then knowing, it's just amazing.
But Mike started. He's like, I can't believe. He says, we had to do the stuff the way they have to do it at the show. We never get anything done because you have to bake prosthetics overnight. You have to do your molds and rubber overnight, and for them to do they do in that compressed time frame is idiotic. It's crazy. Not idiotic, crazy.
I have a quick question before we.
Well, we're not. Yeah, I was going to say continue on because there's still not a lot that I know Terrace needs to say. So.
Yeah. I love this. This is awesome. I love to hear
I know. Seriously, it's like I'm having a great time. So let's keep going.
You're just thrilled to be thawed out of -7 weather. That's all.
That's right. I have to have the fire going before my wife gets home, though, or else there'll be hell to pay.
You gotta have a fire burning for your wife.
That's right, brother. I'll go shoot a moose stew tonight. So.
My question: do you know if Star Trek Continues is going to have a presence at some of these cons, especially Vegas?
Would want to. I mean, if I'm there, it'll have at least a mini presence because I'll do whatever I can. And I think it's safe to say that by the time of Vegas, the episode will have been out. So I don't know how often. I don't know. Some of that stuff, the more Comic-Con type places, yes. Like I'm going to be at MegaCon in Orlando, and Vic is there, so we'll probably do something there. But I mean, we're just barely started talking. Again, this has all just been the last 3 or 4 weeks, and we had to get the damn thing done first, and then he's got to post and edit it, and he's thinking about the premiere and all that. But before and after, I hope we can. And there was talk about shooting this summer, or maybe doing 2 at once in the shoot. I got no idea, and I don't know how fast there'll be something else to talk about. I should say Jack Trevino was one of the writers on the script, also, who has.
We just interviewed him last week.
Did he
about he and Ethan
Kalk.
Yeah. Now Ethan Kalk did not work on this script. He had I don't know if he talked about this or not.
No, we did. We talked a little bit, and they talked about how Ethan had not, but Jack had. Right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Are you gonna cut us a DVD portion so we can watch it on the bus?
Oh yeah, we'll definitely do something because there's no great locations in it. Actually, they did have a couple locations, but it's like somebody's backyard somewhere in
Georgia. We're not driving quite that far with a bus.
But before we had a tape, Harris, maybe you should say how, because I heard this rumor that you could go sign up down on the deposit.
You could actually be on this tour in 2013. That we're talking about.
to re-segue the segue.
Oh, by the way. Oh, and yes, you did ask me.
Great-grandfather did. Okay.
You can find the tour at geeknationtours.com. So GEEK-nationtours.com. And just go to the upcoming tours section, and we can more than happily show you our tour description. And then hit the booking tab, and you can secure a spot without putting any money down. Huh? And I phone you, I talk to you about the tour, make sure that you're interested and you love it, and then we talk about financial details and tour details, and we get you aboard. So it's really easy.
Because seriously, this is not like an inhuman, impersonal thing. I mean, it's very. Terrace has a regular travel agency. Who's traveling in Little Dinky Town, Alberta, Canada? I don't know, but he seems to go up.
Hey,
honey, a lot of people are traveling from Alberta.
Don't pick on Alberta. Alex is from Alberta.
I was picking on Terrace, not the whole.
Okay.
But seriously, he's very personable. He wants to. It's a very one-to-one thing. You're not dealing with a corporation or a big. You're not dealing with a huge thing. It's very. I say small time, but I mean that in a good way. It's very hands-onable, and it's the way he does stuff. So you don't do a faceless thing, and then you get stuff in the mail, and that's how and then you meet people when you get there. He's on the phone with you to start off with, and it's been good. This is the second year, and we had the shakedown last year a little bit, which is still a great. Ask anybody that was on it last year.
I was going to say, we met several people. We met several people who were on the tour during the convention last year, and not one of them had anything negative to say. They were all thrilled. They were all having a great time, and they just seemed like they were having, just a really special time on top of it. You had touted last year that the tours kind of make families, and I could tell right off the bat from just meeting a few of the couples that were traveling with you that they felt like they had made friends for life.
Yeah.
And having met Terrace, I can tell you, you would never know he's Canadian. He seems absolutely normal. There's nothing that would give away that he was what? He does, right?
Oh, one of these days I'm going to have to get out that big...
I'll try to wear my
cricket paddle and take one to your bottom, my little boy.
I'll try to wear my coonskin.
Not in public, sweet.
Joe, next time.
He did wear a hockey jersey the entire convention. But
Sweater. They're called sweaters.
Yes. Now I have to watch Slapshot.
I wear bowlers.
Oh.
Yes. Those were nice. The Geek Nation Bowlers shirts. Those were
awesome.
very cool.
Yeah. Well, he put away when I saw what he'd done. So yeah. We'll probably say. Oh, and real quick, Terrace mentioned the sponsors. We have even more goodies this year.
Oh, yeah, okay. Sure.
Oh, my gosh.
Thank you for segueing that. Creation Entertainment has been really good with us. They've been really helpful. We're on their page and everything, and they gave us a discount on our Star Trek goodies. So for every $200 or more that we spend, we'll get a $50 reduction. So thank you very much for Creation Entertainment.
Hey, that's great.
Yeah. And Robe Factory is another one of our sponsors. They're going to give us a Star Trek towel for everybody that's on the tour. So they're the guys with the really cool Star Trek robes, but they also produce towels too. So we're going to have a towel for everybody.
And everybody knows, even if you're crossing sci-fi genders, you must have a towel.
That's right.
Don't forget your towel.
Very good. Because you never know when you're going to hitchhike and your planet to be destroyed.
Exactly.
Very good. Also, Bye Bye Robot. We're going to get some stickers from our friends at Bye Bye. They're great. We're very big fans of them. They have great, beautiful art, science fiction, and particularly Star Trek art that is very, very nice. Fine art for your Star Trek fan. And also Stronghold Games. They've produced a board game called Space Cadets. And basically, you're manning one station on the starship that is non-IP infringing. And yeah, I don't know if you've ever played a cooperative board game, but it's so much fun. Everybody has to work together in order to get a job done, and one person is the shield officer, one person is the captain, the engineer, and the helmsman, the whole bit, and it is a blast. It is so much fun. So
it sounds like a kick.
Yeah,
yes, it's taken off, and we've got we're starting to run. And the other thing, real quick, is that it was this way last year. We haven't had to bump it yet, but if this gets to be hugely popular, we'll never do more than Terrace doesn't want to do more than one bus load. So if any of these we probably won't be bumping this much for a while, but it won't ever be more than 35 people because we don't want to have one bus feeling like they're getting the PA and the live bodies are on the other bus, or back and forth or whatever.
Basically, what Larry's saying is, I don't want to walk on the bus and everybody goes, Terrace, we want Larry.
Larry. They're not booing. They're saying Larry. Larry. Sorry, that's an old Captain Lou Albano joke.
Oh, we did Larry, so we can't get to him. But anyway, it's a great thing. And if you're intimidated, I'm kidding. He's in Alberta. He markets to Australia, the Far East, Germany, England for tours anyway, and for travel. And you've got somebody from France already on. I mean, it's a great. If you come from from another country, it's a great way to attack the U.S. if not Vegas. Not be intimidated. You'll have buddies, or even if we had a couple from Vegas last year that came.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
So it's a great to attack the convention and or visit L.A. with fans, and by the time you got to the con, you'd have friends that you wouldn't be there alone. So
that's exactly right. I'm kidding. I'm not kidding when I say Alan and we had seats next to, I want to say 4 of your tour guests from last year, and we were connected. We had such a good time. They talked about nothing about how much fun they had. So
awesome. Terrace, you also do tours for people who for significant others. Is that correct?
We have our Parallel Universes section. So if you have a spouse that's not very much of a geek and doesn't really want to be around you when you're geeking out, I take care of all that too. So if they want to go to art museums or shopping or to a ball game or whatever, we take care of all that. So yeah, we do that. So you can have your cake and eat it too.
That's awesome.
And you see the site, you'll see he's gone to gaming conventions. They've done military battlefields and wargaming sites and castles in Europe and all kinds of geek.
If there is an interest, he caters to it.
That's right. Yeah, a geeky interest, that's for sure.
That's awesome.
Well, gentlemen, I think we need to tie things up, but I can't thank you enough for joining us yet again here at the G&T Show.
Well,
thank you very much
for having us on. Yeah, I should very quickly. I still have my fan donation page up at conofwrath.com, and I have a limited time offer. I'm not putting it out anywhere, but I had a donor make up 10 24th century modern Klingon pads. So for $1 donation, you can get these, and I'll mail it right off to you. But you just go to your donation site, put $50 in, and on the little note thing say it's for a Klingon pad.
Oh, awesome.
Larry,
yes.
Anything in a Romulan Empire, perhaps?
Now, well, he did this as an homage to Prophecy for Voyagers. So, yeah, so we need to, need to get through those. And then my TreklandBlog.com and videos, which has kind of been on a hiatus with all this other stuff happening, but that. And I have my Trekland CDs audio, which I have talked to you guys, but I debuted them at Vegas last year.
I did see that, and yes. I also want to, people can follow you on Twitter at
Larry Nemecek. Pretty simple. If you can get through the Nemecek, you're good.
Why don't you spell it for our listeners, Larry?
N-E, Nancy Edward, Mary Edward, Charles Edward King. How about that?
Bravo. Terrace, people can find Geek Nation Tours not only at the link at gntshow.com, but at geeknationtours.com. Can they follow you on Twitter as well?
Yep, Twitter and also on Facebook.
Excellent. And is it Geek Nation Tours on Twitter? Great.
Yep, Geek Nation Tours on Twitter and also facebook.com/Geek Nation Tours.
Yep.
Awesome.
Excellent. We'll make sure to put links.
My Trek Facebook page is Trekland, is Larry Nemecek's Trekland. So
yep.
That's the Trek that happens.
Which, by the way, your blog is severely missing your beardless self.
I haven't done a blog. Oh, I want to write about the whole experience. I mean, I literally just got back yesterday.
All right, I'm just telling you. It's nothing.
I know, but it's if you. Trekland, if everybody's so wanting to be shocked or whatever. Pictures.
Yes, shocking.
Oh. You can oogie and squee over the beard, but when I told Musetta Vander she had a good ass, you told me I was wrong.
Well, that's different.
No, it's not. She was flattered.
I'm not saying she wasn't.
Larry had a nice ass, did you say?
No, Musetta Vander.
He has a nice ass.
He does have a nice one, but it's not as nice as hers.
Time to go shovel some more snow, Terrace.
Again, thanks you guys.
Thanks so much for your quarterly visit with us.
Yes, you'll have to come back again soon.
I would love to.
And Larry, when you're ready to be able to talk about Star Trek Continues, will you please send up the red flare, and we would love to have you back.
Or the other top secret
any of the other top secret project. When the top secret comes off, please let us know.
People want to hit it at Grand Slam or Gallifrey One or Emerald City or Sun City in El Paso or any of those things and get me drunk, I might let it slip in too.
You can turn on the Nemecek signal up in the clouds.
Conduit in Salt Lake City or Phoenix Comic-Con too, or another couple. So there we go. Con City. So that's the known damage so far.
Great. Well, thanks again, you guys, and have we wish you all the success. And if we don't talk to you before then, which I doubt we will, but we'll see you in August in Las Vegas.
Awesome. Can't wait to see you.
Yep.
Thank you very much.
Thanks so much.
Kapla.
Joel Untrue.